Good afternoon, everyone. We hope you're all keeping safe and well during these unprecedented times, and we look forward to brightening your day by sharing to reconnect with you and prepare you for what's ahead as we near suite closings. We view you as partners in the development process, and it's critical to us that you're very satisfied with your decision to purchase with us. As partners, we want to be open and transparent and share with you all the important details regarding Transit City 3.
To ensure the webinar is as helpful as possible, we had previously asked that you email questions ahead of time so we can incorporate the most common themes into the presentation. Thank you to everyone that submitted their questions. The purpose of our webinar today is to give you a thorough update on the neighborhood since sales in 2017, progress of Tower 3, the East Tower, and to give you guidance and direction on what will be happening over the next couple months. We have intentionally held this meeting well ahead of our closing dates in order to give you all ample time to plan ahead, secure your mortgage, and prepare for closing. To kick things off, I will turn it over to Sarah to start with the neighborhood.
You will notice we're in the same sales center most of you visited previously when you made your purchase back in 2017, and I'm excited to talk to you about what's taken place in the neighborhood. There has been a lot of activity in the immediate area, as you have seen firsthand if you've driven or passed by. Since 2017, there have been a number of initiatives that have been completed, such as the bus terminal and the TTC subway station right at your doorstep that many of you and future residents will use. We have seen the completion of the KPMG and PwC office towers. If you go down there today, you will also see that the YMCA is well under construction. We are thrilled to report that Transit City 1 and 2 successfully registered and all 1,110 units have closed with no interim occupancy period. One thing to highlight is the number of highly successful launches since 2017 when you first purchased, including our sister phases TC4 and TC5. And what we've seen is unprecedented demand for the VMC and continued growth and evolution of the area. The result of all this high demand has been incredibly strong price appreciation. One of the things you should take away from this is that all of you have done incredibly well in terms of your investment since 2017, and the community is thriving. It will continue to grow and become the city center a lot of us have envisioned. Now I'm going to hand things over to Hazel to walk you through the on-site progress.
Thank you, Sarah. I would like to bring your focus back into your new home in progress and provide you with a construction update. It's remarkable to think that it was only 3.5 years ago that we opened our doors and each of you decided to purchase a unit at Transit City 3. Since then, you will see that we have come a long way since the commencement of construction in August 2018. The crew was working in close quarters to make as much progress as possible in the early months. Work on our foundation immediately started, and the formation of the lower floors were taking shape by April 2019. You can see the above-grade parking garage developed with the tower. The tower continued to rise, reaching level 13 in the fall of 2019. From there, the concrete structure continued to climb rapidly, with window wall installations keeping up, suites in full production mode, and work commenced in the amenities and common areas. Within the tower on the 8th floor, the crew continued to make great progress in the amenities, including outdoor terrace, lounge, games room, and children's playroom. Just a floor below that, you will find 3 guest suites along with a property management office on the 7th floor. Please note that while the amenities will be completed at the time of first closings, the official opening of these common spaces will be dependent on the COVID-19 environment at the time. We remain optimistic. Here, you can see a glimpse of the finished amenities and lobby of the first 2 towers to showcase the quality of the finished spaces you can also expect at Transit City 3. We are excited to share with you a comparison of the rendering of the building on the left and on the right, an actual picture of the finished building showcasing that it is built true to the renderings. You will see this as a common theme later on in the presentation when we get into your suite finishes. We are also happy to report that we achieved another milestone with the completion of the roof slab back in the fall of 2020, officially achieving roof top-off. Critical path work was then handed over to the mechanical and elevator trades. 3 elevators are now operational and full attention is turned to the corridors and suites as we prepare for closings. We have been able to achieve all of this with special safety measures and strict protocols in place as a result of COVID-19. You will also see the measures we will be taking for the building and your specific suite as we near closings.
We've come a long way together in a short period of time, and the excitement is building every day as we get closer and closer to bringing you inside your units for the first time. The customer care team and I personally walk the suites floor by floor weekly, and we're very happy with the results and progress being made. As you can see, we have produced fully completed suites to give you the first look into your new home. With your safety in mind, suites are being protected, fully sanitized, and cleaned upon closing and will be move-in ready. The finishing trades are in full production mode, and they are making their way up the building floor by floor, systematically producing the high-quality homes we take pride in. We have a very large inventory of completed suites, slightly above the 49th marketing floor. You will see all the different suite palette renderings of your new home alongside the completed suite with those finishes. The first is Palette A, medium gray brown finishes. Palette B, dark brown finishes. And Palette C with the light gray white finishes. Again, you will notice that we have maintained and stayed true to the original suite rendering and finishes. This carries throughout the rest of your suite, and I'm pleased to say that all of the finishes and specifications are exactly what you would expect based on your agreement of purchase and sale. The quality of your suite should meet or exceed your expectations when you first step in. By Q2 this year, the majority of you will take possession of your new home. Now that you've had a thorough update on the neighborhood, construction progress for Transit City 3, as well as your suite, I will walk you through some of the critical aspects and closing considerations. Firstly, I'd like to talk to you about your pre-delivery inspection. Typically, we have always conducted a PDI, otherwise known as a pre-delivery inspection with homeowners, as this is your first opportunity to view your suite before closing. However, the Tarion advisory released on October 30th, 2020, referenced here, advised in this COVID environment that measures be taken to reduce interactions. Tarion does not consider the PDI as absolutely necessary to be conducted with both the builder and homeowner. Please note that the PDI does not impact your warranty coverage. Accordingly, we are recommending that homeowners each conduct their own review of their new home when they take possession. On our end, leading up to each suite-specific closing date, you can expect to receive an interactive virtual tour of the layout and finishes of your suite. Feel free to use this virtual tour for leasing purposes as well. We will also be providing an informative PDI video with Clayton Inwood, our PDI representative, where he takes you through a guided tour of your suite to learn about the finishes, features, and provides maintenance tips. Our PDI specialist will be conducting these thorough internal inspections on your behalf, and a PDI report will be generated for each suite prior to closing. In accordance with Tarion requirements and to help you with closing preparations, we will also send you the Tarion Certificate of Completion and Possession, also known as your CCP, and the Tarion Homeowner Information Package, HIP, closer to your closing date. To further clarify, we will conduct a thorough PDI on your behalf prior to occupancy and will share the results. All homeowners will have the opportunity to note any new deficiencies when they take possession, as warranty periods will still be in place. For more information on this advisory, please refer to Tarion's website at tarion.com, as they have a webpage dedicated to COVID-19 impacts and responses.
Let's take a moment to recap the project timelines to help prepare for closings. At the beginning of 2021, it was determined that there will be no impacts to Tower 3 as a result of COVID-19. All purchasers were sent a letter providing you with your firm closing date and other important information. We also reminded you to retain your lawyer if you had not done so already. At the beginning of February, our lawyer commenced communication with all purchasers' lawyers on file. Ahead of the first closing dates, we are pleased to announce that Transit City 3 is still on track to register as a condominium corporation to ensure that there is no interim occupancy period for any of our purchasers. Considering all of the above, please prepare to close on the firm closing date provided for your suite. With closings in mind, we will go through a few critical considerations. The deadline to provide your lawyer information has already passed. Please check in with your lawyer to ensure they receive the recent correspondence from our lawyer and notify us immediately if there is any discrepancy. This is important as closing packages and statement of adjustments will be communicated lawyer to lawyer at least 1 week prior to your specific closing date, but every effort will be made to provide 2 full weeks. We cannot complete your closing without homeowners insurance in place. Please refer to our previous letters sent to all purchasers as we have specified and outlined the insurance requirement. A reminder will be sent by our lawyers as well. As closing dates are fast approaching, it is important to plan ahead for your legal advisors, insurance, and especially your mortgage. As Sarah mentioned, we are on track to achieving condo registration, and this is to confirm that you will not have an interim occupancy closing or interim occupancy period and will instead go directly to final closing. This means that title will be transferred to you on the firm closing date communicated to you. So please prepare for your mortgage or finances for that date. It's best to begin preparing for closing now. It's also important to note that we will not be granting any extensions since we are providing notice this early. On that note, Sarah will provide you with additional resources to secure your mortgage and financing now.
Speaking with industry professionals, it's abundantly clear that this is the best time to secure a mortgage given the current rates and underwriting criteria. It is very important for you to know that we will not have an interim occupancy period and will be going straight into final closing. This is a significant advantage for our purchasers because they won't be paying phantom rent like 99% of all other buildings. But what that does mean is that our purchasers must be more prepared ahead of time. It is vital for all of you to look forward and plan towards securing a mortgage for a variety of reasons. Number 1, historically low rates. Take advantage of locking in the most attractive financing terms with downside protection if rates further improve. Firm commitments. Banks are prepared to provide guaranteed firm approvals that will hold the interest rate until your closing date. And finally, peace of mind. Get started now, as this process can take time to coordinate and will allow you to canvass and secure the best financing terms well ahead of closing. Having options is to your advantage. Make sure you're getting ahead and being proactive. This is one of the biggest, if not the biggest step heading into closing, and having clarity on this topic will be critical. There is no better time than now. Our relationship with the country's leading lenders has led to an opportunity for our purchasers. This is tailored and designed to make the process easier, exclusively for Transit City purchasers, so it is much more streamlined. They are familiar with the development, the location, and the community, and pre-appraised the building for an expedited approval process. The truth is, there is no commitment or pressure to bank with them, but you may find their resources, expertise, and knowledge very handy as you consider your mortgage options. We have put together a list of contact information for those of you who are interested in reaching out to get more information. You will find this in the handout section of the webinar, and we will circulate this to all purchasers as well.
You have just heard about our lending partners, and before we move on, there are 3 more value-added partners we would like to share with you: the YMCA, Bell, and Provident. The agreement with the YMCA is to provide 1 membership per suite. Additional memberships can be purchased at a reduced rate. The current timing of the completion of the YMCA is in Q4 2021, and more details will be provided closer to its official opening. As disclosed in the condo documents, we have also partnered with Bell and Provident. We have secured very competitive pricing for Bell's high-speed internet included in the common element fees with exclusive bulk pricing, $30 versus $100 for the same comparable internet package. It is 100% fiber straight to your home with a download speed of up to 1.5 gigabytes per second and unlimited usage. As for Provident, please note that all suites in Transit City are sub-metered and owners or residents will be responsible for the following dependent on the suite usage for electricity, hot water, cold water, thermal heating and cooling recoveries.
Here are a few key takeaways regarding the sub-metering agreement with Provident. Number 1, sub-metering ensures residents pay their fair share. Number 2, sub-metering meets the highest green standards and is a regulatory requirement. Number 3, Provident makes no profit from the underlying utility rates. Number 4, Provident's fees are transparent, competitive, and predictable in the future. And finally, number 5, utility support programs. These details will be circulated to all purchasers. As disclosed when you bought your unit, your suite will be sub-metered and all services will be combined into one convenient bill that covers all three areas: electricity, water, and thermal heating and cooling. While it may seem like the Provident bill is higher relative to the utility bills you may have received in the past, remember that you will actually be paying the three bills in one, and in total, you are paying less than you would if you were paying multiple bills to various utility providers. Provident makes no markup. Also, it is important to note that in the last 5 years, the condo industry has moved away from water, heating, and cooling being a part of the condo common element fees. By directly metering these utilities, overall consumption decreases, and therefore, overall cost to each owner and resident decreases as well. All purchasers will need to complete the Provident registration form ahead of their closing date. If the suite will be tenanted in the future, each tenant will need to register to transition the billing from the homeowner directly to the end user. More details regarding Provident and Bell can be found on the handout section of this webinar, along with the mortgage contacts that I mentioned earlier. Now that you have a better idea of what's ahead, let me remind you of the customer care team that will be working with you over the next few months into occupancy and post-occupancy. Clayton Inwood is our PDI representative, specializing in quality control inspections. He has completed over 2,800 inspections across all our towers. You will see him around the building getting all suites ready for closings. Hazel will continue to be one of your first touchpoints at CentreCourt over the coming months. As for me, I'm dedicated to managing our quality control and customer care operations across all CentreCourt projects and will be involved throughout every stage at Transit City Condos. Before we conclude today, we would like to quickly touch upon 3 more items. Closing day. On closing day, key pickup will be by appointment only when authorization has been received from our lawyer to release the keys. Please do not plan to visit the building until you have received a confirmation email from our customer care team. Due to COVID